We're live. We're here. Bloodborne epilogue, baby. Let's go. I thought it would be fun to begin at the beginning. We're not going to play through again, but I did want to really quickly go over all these different classes again now that we have the entire context of the game. So we've got milquetoast, ordinary, happy upbringing, all attributes, average. Where did this person grow up where they could have a happy upbringing in the world of Bloodborne? Lone survivor of Lost Hamlet, high life essence and vigor. Interesting. The only hamlet we have ever heard of in this game is the fishing hamlet.
You're wrong.
Worshipped in the valley, hamlet, hamlet, hamlet.
Which is where that great sin happened, where Kos was killed. So could this be, referencing that, are we one of the people who, if we had stayed, we would have turned into like a fish person? Did we survive the massacre that Gehrman and Maria inflicted on that place? And we were like the only person to survive that, and then we become a hunter in their stead? Is that what happened? Is that, because if this is that hamlet, then that is fascinating. Troubled childhood, suffered misfortune in youth, highly resilient as a result. I don't feel like there's too much to explore there. That kind of leaves it vague and open for you to create your own story. And I feel like in the world of Bloodborne, it would be very, very easy to have a troubled childhood and to have suffered misfortune in youth and in your later years too. Violent past, terribly violent past, rash but stronger for it. Again, not much to explore there, but it allows you to create your own story. Professional, born specialist fit for sleuthing or academia. That's interesting because this kind of implies that we would have been a Byrgenwerth scholar, that we're very much built for Byrgenwerth scholarship. As you can see, this professional has high skill. I think I chose that one for this playthrough. Imagine how much a therapist could make in this universe. Yeah. I just pictured that like black cat meme with like words dissociating and like the other cat's talking to it, and it's like nee 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 nee, and it's just like Yharnam specialist listening to "My dad was eaten by a werewolf and my mom was the one who ate him." So professional fit for sleuthing or academia is interesting because what was Byrgenwerth doing? I was watching some lore stuff and they were like defining the word Byrgenwerth, and it was kind of like Byrgen I think was like grave and worth was like, you know, worth. So it was like, it's a school established specifically for exploring graves and tombs and things like that. So if you're wondering, like, what did they learn at Byrgenwerth? Was this like a regular college? No, this was not a regular college. This was like a specialist college where people were, part of their learning was exploring these Pthumerian labyrinths, or what we know as the Chalice dungeons that Gehrman asked us to explore, and that we will be exploring in this playthrough, in this particular stream as well. If we look at the attributes, they're not necessarily strong. They tend to be more skillful and have more blood echoes. Not as much as these guys, though. Violent past, that's interesting, because as we said, that blood echoes were about blood will and like your willingness to live, as it were. Lone survivor has a lot of that. Let's see, lone noble scion has the most. Interesting. Military veteran, experienced in war, a soldier with strength and skill. We don't know, we haven't heard about any wars, so I don't know what war this would be talking about. I would presume this would be kind of like if you were to play an older character, I guess. That would make the most sense to me. Or if you were to play a younger character, maybe it was a war in a far-off land, and you could pretend like, I'm from out of town, I'm from... Because there's plenty of lands, like outside of Yharnam, we only see like a small section of this world. This one's more balanced. It's got strength and skill. Noble Scion. This is the interesting one I wanted to talk about. Because remember, at the very beginning, we knew nothing about what this meant. Scion to a respectable line with faith in your pedigree. And then this is the class that has the highest blood tinge. And what we know about Ariana and Cainhurst and Vile Bloods, Queen Annalise, is that very likely if you were to pick this class, the starting class with these attributes, you're probably from Cainhurst or from the Cainhurst line. You might not know it, like Ariana doesn't seem to know it. Her ancestors seem to be the ones who were of this nobility, and yet she's in Cathedral Ward working as a sex worker. I mean, I don't feel like she would be in that job if she had better prospects or if she had money. It seems like maybe the noble dress was passed down to her, but the money necessarily wasn't. But yeah, Noble Scion, we are probably from Cainhurst, and we probably have a little bit of that vile blood running through our veins, which is what makes our blood tinge so good. And what we know from Alfred, what he said was that the vile bloods were like created when a Bergenworth scholar, quote unquote, betrayed their other classmates and then took forbidden blood to Cainhurst and then supposedly gave it to Queen Annalise or something like that. And so, like, what is this forbidden blood? It was probably, you know, like blood of the gods from the Pthumerian labyrinths. There also seems to be like different ways of ingesting it. The healing church, as we like heal ourselves, we inject ourselves in the right leg with a blood vial, so it's kind of like directly to the blood veins. The Cainhurst vile bloods appear to drink it. Like when we kneeled down and Queen Annalise was like, "Indulge thyself in our tainted blood," we reached out our hands and she reached out her wrist and we drank it. So maybe that different way of processing it has different results because you're putting it through a filter. When you drink it, it has to go through your digestive system. So it could be safer to do that if you don't vomit it up, as opposed to like injecting it straight into your veins. Maybe it doesn't have the same healing qualities, but it has different effects. The Cainhurst nobles seem to live a very long time. That is implied by the corruption rune, which is, it looks to me like an ankh, but repeating. And ankhs are like symbols in, is a symbol in Egyptian culture and mythos that represents like eternal life. But the corruption rune has that circle on top of itself, repeating, as if like you're extending that life. I don't know. I think that's what happened, that the Bergenworth scholar was exploring in the Pthumerian dungeons, found this like eldritch blood, took it back to Cainhurst, and the Cainhurst nobles were like drinking it, and it had different effects. Cruel fate, faced terrible hardships, but now confident in your purpose. This one I think has highest arcane. Ooh. That could imply that we could have been a part of like the orphanage experiments. I was watching this theory about how the orphanage birthed the choir, like quite literally. People were like indoctrinating these kids and then they became extremely good in the arcane. So maybe we are like one of those kids who grew up in the church's clutches with no family, no attachment to anything, and we were trained a certain way, and so our arcane is very high. And then waste of skin, you're nothing, talentless, you shouldn't have been born. That's just like hard mode. Lowest attributes out of anyone. 10 blood echoes. Everyone's got like some in the hundreds and then just 10. So this is like just hard mode. Not much to say about that one. Withdraw, yes. There are a few more lore things I wanted to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about... Hi, it's Yatsik again. Wait. Hello. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about our final bosses. I was looking up Gehrman's, the names of his attacks because I was trying to figure out what the jump was called because he kept spamming it. I was trying to look up statistics on how rare the jump is because I thought the jump was rare, but he was absolutely terrorizing us with it last time. An interesting, I wasn't able to find that, but an interesting thing I did find was that his AoE, where he has the moon powers and then he stands there and then he creates this big explosion that will kill you if you're near him. It's called End of the Nightmare, which I thought was interesting. Like, I wonder, taking that apart, thinking about it, could that mean like the end of the nightmare for us if we're standing near him? It's like, bam, now you're dead. Now he's served his purpose in killing you and releasing you to Yharnam. I didn't know it had names. Yeah, The jump attack was called like Wind Gust or something like that, but he attacks us with wind, essentially, with a Reaper's Scythe in a garden. So I think there is heavy implications that he was a gardener at one point. But yeah, the AoE is called End of the Nightmare, and I'm wondering if we were to take those words and apply it to him, what that would mean. I don't know, it's something to think about. Do you also remember a while back when I mentioned that there was that superstition of beasthood creeping up the right leg? I think we saw that in the old hunter garb. Yes. Oh, it would be on the pants, I think. A widespread belief of the period was that beast blood crept up the right leg, and this led to the double-wrapped belt. And then we also saw that... Wait, let's check. I don't think he's here. No. But Gehrman is missing his right leg. There he is. Okay. Let's check. Yeah, he's missing his right leg. I posited that theory that maybe he cut it off purposefully to avoid beasthood. Did you mention that Canehurst status is missing a leg too? Yeah, the Canehurst statues. Let's explore that on a different one. But I mentioned that possibly he cut off his own leg, but I think what realistically actually happened was, as we saw in the second ending, when we replaced him, we were also missing a leg. It was our left leg for some reason. But I think either interpretation is valid. There's also the trailer for the DLC where we see Gehrman limping through the fishing hamlet, but I think that was just them reusing some assets in order to create the trailer, so they literally just like had their new environment that they were going to tease you with, and then they took Gehrman's boss model, put him in there, and then he's like limping and walking towards you as he does in the fight. So I wouldn't read too much into it, but it does show him in the waking world with leg. But I think if, like, for example, if you were to write a story about Gehrman, it would be up to your interpretation which you want to go with. Okay, this is what Phantomet was talking about. The Knights of Canehurst are all missing their right legs. All of them. Every single statue in here. And as you can see, they do still have their left legs. But not the right. That could be a ceremonial thing where they are taking off their right legs to avoid that beasthood. It could be a very old belief. Canehurst is older than the Healing Church by a long shot. I would also think that they are older than Bergenworth. All the old knights wonder what happened in those Pthumerian labyrinths long ago. Yeah, it said it was a widespread belief, but it's possible that it came from Canehurst or from an older source that connects both of those worlds. But if you were to write a story about Gehrman, it would depend on like what you decide to focus on. For example, for my comic, I'm working on like a lot of the themes of Gehrman's torture is that he keeps having his life taken out of his control. And so going with the interpretation of the moon presence removing his leg as he's pulled into the dream and pulled into this role is more fitting for my story. If you were to focus on like Gehrman's fear of himself and maybe his like carnal desires towards Maria, his more animal nature, then it might be appropriate to go with the purposeful removal of himself. So it's like you're playing with the symbolism of him trying to remove a part of himself. That's not what my story is focusing on, so I'm not going with that interpretation. I'm going with the moon presence yanking it away interpretation, but both are valid, and it just depends on like what emphasis you want to give it. I also think it's interesting that Gehrman and Maria have kind of these like flip-flopped masc and femme sort of symbolisms. We associate Gehrman with the moon, which is typically seen as a feminine orb, I don't know, a feminine body. And then Maria we associate with that terrible astral clock tower sun, which is typically seen as a more masculine body. I also tend to think that Gehrman was a little more gentle than Maria was, and I have several ideas for that argument. I think Maria is as harsh on everyone else as she is on herself. I think she hates herself way more than Gehrman hates himself. Love me a good feminine orb in the night sky. You know what I mean. I think she hates herself more because both used to keep track of the passage of time. Yeah. We can interpret her words as like when she says a corpse should be left well alone, like she could be saying like leave me alone, or she could be saying, you know, I should have known better. We should have left the corpse of Kos alone. And when she dies, she just screams. But Gehrman, under his breath, he's begging for Lawrence to come fulfill some sort of promise. He's begging for anybody. He says, somebody, please, anybody, help me. And then when we kill him, he doesn't scream or anything. He says the night and the dream were long. It's kind of like he's saying like, oh God, that was awful. So there is a part of him, as much as he regrets his actions and as much as he's haunted by them and as much as he hates himself, there is a part of him that believes he is worthy of being helped. We don't get that with Maria at all. We just get bitterness. And when we read about her Rakuyo, it said that she detested blood blades. And yet in order to defeat us, she has to stab herself and pull into her vile blood powers. It demands great dexterity. Lady Maria was fond of this aspect of the Rakuyo, as she frowned upon blood blades despite being a distant relative of the queen. She hates this aspect in herself, and yet she has to access it to defeat us. I think it was Sarah Barty as well who was talking about how like there are a lot of gothic tropes in Gehrman and Maria that are flipped. Like in Dracula, there's usually the innocent woman who has to be protected by these men or is like preyed upon by an older male figure, i.e. Dracula. But in Gehrman and Maria, we have essentially Dracula's daughter. And then, I don't know if she mentioned this, but it's kind of an observation I've made. Gehrman is kind of a Van Helsing type character. He's like this older, experienced hunter who should know how to fight beasts or vampires specifically. And yet, Bergenworth has a history of working with Cainhurst, at least in the beginning. So he's like this Van Helsing type character who has worked with vampires. Like his closest compatriot is essentially a vampire. Lady Maria, gothic trope inversions. Yeah, exactly. Like Maria is far from an innocent young girl. Like if we look at the doll, she's kind of more like a Mina Harker type character. But as we've met Maria is nothing like that at all. And like that's part of the disparity of my personal interpretation being that Gehrman doesn't like interacting with a doll because she is not Maria and never will be. But there is also the interpretation that he specifically made the doll to pacify Maria. But in any sense, it is agreed upon that the doll is not like Maria at all and is far more passive. Talking more about the final bosses, the Moon Presence is the one who imbues us with the power of blood echoes and with the ability to blood heal, so she can easily take that away. If you remember when she shot out this big gaze of light and then my health went down to literally 1 point, if her health is under 30%, you actually can't use your blood vials to heal. When that happens, you have to go up to her and rely on your rally and hit her to get your health back. It is implied that the gaze of the moon would just one-shot kill us. I think like the script in it was like, it said something like one-shot kill, but we have like the invincibility script flipped on or something like that, but it leaves us with 1 point of health. I forget exactly what it was, but it is implied that if we hadn't eaten the cords or there wasn't something special about us because we ate the cords, that would have killed us immediately, and there's no way to dodge it either. I wanted to mention also that another name for the moon is, or it is believed to be pale blood, because we saw that note in the lecture building, the second floor. It says like the moon presence, pale blood. That's why a lot of people make that connection. But pale blood is still like hugely debated in the community because we don't really know much about it at all. And it's interesting, when we went to Yahar'gul, the Hyphagian jail, a long time ago, and we saw that note and it said, "Behold, a pale blood sky," and the sky was gray. That note is still there when we go to Yahar'gul, and the sky is a deep, horrible red. So it's kind of implying that the pale blood sky, that red, was always there, but we just couldn't see it yet. Something you guys brought up was, why does Kos have humanoid features? One of you was talking about how possibly Great Ones and their children are affected by their surroundings, and possibly Kos spent a lot of time with humans, and thus her child took on some human forms. I also saw a theory that all great ones were once human. I don't know if I believe that necessarily, but that argument has legs. I never got to mention to you, the doll has a secret prayer, but you have to have like not opened up the DLC, because she goes over to the DLC and she prays it. But I'll read that for you now. We never got it, but I'll read it for you. O Flora of the moon, of the dream, O fleeting will of the ancients, let the hunter be safe. Let them find comfort, and let this dream, their captor, foretell a pleasant awakening. That's her secret. In New Game Plus, if you chose the ending where you submitted your life, there is your tomb, your, what are they called? Gravestone. Your gravestone right here, and then she's sometimes sitting here praying, and I think that's when you can hear that prayer, is when she's praying over here by your little gravestone, or when she's up here with the DLC, if you haven't opened it. She doesn't really come up here to pray at this anymore. I haven't opened it up on this yet because I ended the game recently, as you saw. If this is open, you need to readily like access it, so like she's never going to be found here anymore. Ah yes, the secret prayer at the tombstone. I got it once or twice on my first playthrough. Really rare. Yes, it is really rare, and we didn't get it in our playthrough, but that is what it is. So she says Flora. A lot of people believe that Flora is another name for the moon, and that's who she's praying to. We don't know for certain. As I'm sure you've noticed, literally all of this story, we don't know any of it for certain, but there are some theories that I feel like have better grounding than others. I thought it was interesting looking at some of the gameplay mechanics, how weapon durability is a part of this game. It's not a part of a lot of Souls games, but it is on this one, and I think that's meant to make you feel like you're a hunter working in a workshop, where it's like, oh god, I was just on a difficult hunt, now I need to come back and fix my weapon. I think it's just for that. You might notice that I don't use my Chikage very often. That's because I have like absolutely cursed stones on it, and it makes my weapon durability really, really low. It's like minus 60% durability, so I don't end up using this very much. It's very, very powerful, but it's super cursed. There's a theory as well that the 3 third cords are actually the umbilical cord from Kos's body that connected to the orphan, and that it was divided in 3 and given to the 3 factions of the church. Like we have Lawrence and the Healing Church, Gehrman and the Hunters, and then Mikolash and the School of Mensis, but I'm not sure. I think the reason that people think that is that we actually do find that Gehrman had a cord. We find it here in the real world. And then Mikolash had to have some way of creating that ritual and having a cord somehow that way. But that is a theory, is that is the only really well-known like physical god body that was washed up ashore was Kos. So a lot of the fandom tends to think that the 3 third cords were from one whole cord, because that's how fractions work, and that cord was Kos's. But again, we don't know much. This one I'm very excited about. So Bonfire VN is a YouTube channel that posts a lot of like close-ups of different assets from Souls games and like Sekiro as well. But they show you like close-up characters and enemies not moving and not attacking you, so that you can actually look at them, and I use them sometimes for like drawing references and stuff. It's very helpful. But they recently uploaded a video about the snail ladies and the fishing men of the fishing hamlet, including the big dumb sharks. But I was particularly drawn to these snail ladies, and I'll show you why. What really struck me about these ladies, yes, so many details. Those videos are super cool. I didn't show you my theory about the hamlet and the snail lady, did I? Oh, okay. Please tell me later. As you can see, the snail lady, what really struck me about this design is you see her hair in front of her face. It looked very, very familiar to me. And what it looks like to me is those statues of veiled women, which I love looking at them because they're so magical. Because to sculpt an opaque stone to look like a person under a see-through veil, if you were to just do the 3D image, then you would not be able to get any like of the definition of like being able to see through it. It would just look like an opaque shawl covering a head. So you have to know where to carve in to create like shadows of eyes and things like that. It's I could stare at them all day. I don't know how they do it. It's magic to me. But that's what these snail ladies and their hair look like to me. They look like those statues of veiled ladies with the see-through veils. And so I was like, is there like a famous version of that? And in fact, yeah, there are several veiled ladies. They tend to be of the Virgin Mary and of nuns. And then that made me think, look at all these women praying to one large veiled lady. I'm not gonna fight this guy again, but you know, when we saw Kos, her head was veiled, a bit like a Virgin Mary. We also don't know who the father is, and this poor child was killed so that humanity could ascend and learn more, kind of like a fucked up Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ sort of thing, where Jesus was not willing and was not instructed and was just a baby, a fucked up fish Jesus. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was very excited to discover that on my own. I felt so clever. It's cool as hell, the similarities between the snail ladies and the veiled statues. I think I'm correct. I think. I mean, back me up. I think they look very similar. Like you know the statues I'm talking about. Like just like type in veiled lady statue, and you'll find plenty of examples. But let us continue this awful Pthumerian dungeon with this awful boss. They do look similar, yeah. I agree that they're inspired by that. That's what I'm wondering. I think they really are. I think FromSoft did that on purpose, but I'm not sure. You remember this guy. Let's try to visceral him as much as we can. Maybe I'll do better after fighting the orphan. Oh god. I don't know his timings at all. This boss is a purge. I just found a random piece of Captain Crunch. I almost crunched it into the microphone just to prove it to you, but then I would have to stick a random piece that I had found in my mouth. And I think you guys would think very poorly of me if I did that. You would know my true goblin energy. Oh, stop it. There we go. Where did you find the random piece? Just like on a napkin in the second part of the table. We have like a terrarium table that we don't stick anything in, but it's in like that second piece. Oh my god. Hi, what? Ah, stop it. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. I got stuck. Goblin mode was Oxford's 220. Goblin? Wait, Goblin mode is in the Oxford Dictionary? Is it one word or two? I'm gonna prove it to you. Oh, it's stale. Why'd I do that? Okay, stupid. Getcha. There we go. Actually pay attention to his moves. What the fuck? I forgot I could do that. Oh my god, how do you dodge that? Getcha. Is this it? Is he dead? We did it! When's the last time you ate Captain Crunch? Just to know when this came from. Oh, like today. Yeah, it's not... I wouldn't have done that if it was like a year ago or something. Merriam-Webster choose gaslighting as their word of 2022. I think goblin was better. Where's the lantern? Oh, there it is. Nice, thank you. Alright, let's move on. I need like 300,000 to level up this character by this point. So, I don't care too much about that. Extra door, I don't care about that either. That's just more ritual items. I've already got all the weapons in the game. And I don't need more ritual items if this is the last dungeon, so I don't really see a point in that. It might be cool to refresh a little bit, though. I'm glad that didn't take too long. What was that, 2 tries? The orphan really trained us. Doing very well on blood vials and bullets, but picks him up anyway. I'm tired today. Okay, moving on. Layer 2. One of these rooms, huh? I gotta be careful about visceraling people in here because those stupid mosquitoes are gonna show up. Nice. Here's our boss store that, of course, is not open yet. Whoa! You guys tried to Dark Souls 1 me. Who lit that? Apparently exploded himself a little bit too. Ritual blood. There aren't really illusory... I was confused for a second. There aren't really illusory walls in Bloodborne, but there are sometimes in the Chalice dungeons. So let's just check in. If something looks like it should be a door, but it's a wall, it might be illusory. But I still don't have a great grip on them. I've never been here before. This is wacky. There's a dude all the way over there. Those are the dudes that go, ugh. Bet I could shoot ya. He's gonna try to shoot me too. No, don't! Here's some construction going on. Just gonna go ahead and kill this guy too. No, he's gonna shoot me. Ooh. Or he's gonna stand there. Okay. What have we got down here? Huh. Another one of these big rooms, huh? Anything over here? Down I go. Oh my god. Get out of my face. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Look at them prancing away so proud of themselves. Oh, that was dumb. Neat. Did you explode yourself again? No, good job, you're learning. I want to see Barbie so bad. Ah, yeah. They're shooting at me already. He's got my echoes. Can I shoot at anyone from down here? Ah, I can. Oh my god. Shit. I would love to take them out from afar. Just create less of a hassle for us. Stop changing the camera on me. Oh my god. This is so dumb. There's a door over here. What's in here? An elevator. Oh! There's ladies down there. What? Come on. Why not? There we go. If I step on the elevator, it'll start going down. What? Why? Is there only one? Where is she? No, there's a fucking bat! And a gun. Oh my god. I thought you were a gun. Where's the other bat? I don't want to fall down there. Bloodborne fun for the whole family. What is down there? Looks like a trap. Ooh. What have we found? Ah. We're in like a walkway area. Oh, we're approaching from the other area. God, there's so many people. Fuck. This is not good. you from earlier. God, the dogs are still here too. That's no good. Shit. Oh, what is he shooting at me? Rocks? I do want my echoes back. I just think that would be good for us. Just wait for them to forget about me. One at a time, dogs. Let's go. One at a time. Whoa, what's the dog doing? What's the dog doing, though? Shit. What are you shooting? Bet I could throw a rock out at him and he would die. Nope, just kidding. Where's the other dog? There were two dogs, right? Good thing we refreshed. Jesus. There's the other dog. There's like a light over there. And there's stuff over here. I don't know if this leads to the... Oh. Oh god, he's gonna follow us, isn't he? I don't really care about getting extra goodies. I want to get... I just want to open the thingy. This looks promising. Maybe. Oh, this is under the elevator. Nothing. I don't like obscurity. Alright, well there's... Okay. I can't leave. I think I do have to go over here. But that's where the enemies are. I didn't even see you. Oh, I hate rats. Get away. Lost interest. Oh no, there's one of those guys. Didn't hit him, but he saw me anyway. Anyone over here? Doesn't look like it. But there might be something behind those wagons, I'm not sure. What? Little messengers lit up my way for me. There it is. There's the lever. He just stood there watching. He's like, holy shit. Alright, how do we get back to where we were? I have no idea. There's another guy up here I don't necessarily want to say hi to. There's a construction worker. Was this anything? Whoops. Let's just go back the way we came. Not falling for that. Just a nice little stroll. Where'd I come from? Over here, right? God, now is not a good time to be autistic in the way that I am. Get lost so easily. I guess that's why these places are called labyrinths, though. Ah, a light. Good. Cool, we did it. And we might have enough to level up as well. Good. I was afraid there was going to be a mosquito down there. Even though we didn't visceral anyone down there, I'm just so wary of them. Let's go home real quick. I wonder who the next boss is. I don't have enough.
Well, what is it? Very well. Let me
Did you guys miss her? I did. What did I just hear? I didn't do that. What did I just hear? Oh, we fresh. You mind if I slip into something a little bit more comfortable? Ah, I feel refreshed. All stocked up. All cheeked up and nowhere to go on a Tuesday night in June. What? Let's go explore this boss, whoever it may be. Extra room, don't care about that. No summon, huh? No one to help me? No one to care? Oh, I guess I would have to put impurity on, I guess. Well, if we're having trouble, we'll do that, but let's check out who it is. Bloodletting Beast. Oh! Oh. Oh, okay, so he tracks me a little bit. Oh, you're big. It seems to be missing its head, too. Oh, you're like firing poison at me. Interesting. Oh! Oh. Oh, I'm dead. Oh my. I've never fought this thing before. Ew, it's got like something... Ew, it's like ripped open. Poison blood. It was kind of like barbs. Poison blood barbs or something. It's possible that they are kind of like... that it is made of blood. Like those like spears that come out of us when we get frenzied. And like blood crystallizes, as we know in this game, so it's possible that like they are just like firing a bunch of blood at us. Bro, that thing's sick as fuck. Yeah. Ooh! That's what it seems like. Yeah, blood barbs or something. Bro, stop. Somehow I'm alive. What are you doing? What is that? What are you doing? What are you doing? What is that? What did you do? What did he do? Oh, he healed a little bit. Why did he do that? He wasn't looking for me. Why could he heal? Why can you heal? Are you like a vicar? Are you a cleric beast, kind of? For a long time before we had the DLC, people thought... Oh! What? People thought that this was Lawrence. I think we'd see some of that vermin that Mr. Dude was talking about. Oh, we did it. Ooh. That's a great comparison. Oh, what? Is it a parasite? Bug Vibes doesn't match the mammalian body. Yeah, I think it's a parasite. This game's pretty gruesome, but that parasite's head is giving me squick. I'm so covered in blood. This moment brought to you by my partner making ice. I'm gonna read your comments real quick. Blood Eagle? I've never heard of that. It's an execution method, apparently. Wait, we're gonna read about this. Blood Eagle. The Spread Eagle. From Wikipedia. The Blood Eagle was a method of ritually executing a chosen member as detailed in late skaldic poetry. According to the two instances mentioned in the sagas, the victims, in both cases members of royal families, were placed in a prone position, their ribs severed from the spine with a sharp tool, and their lungs pulled through the opening to create a pair of wings. There's been continuing debate about whether the rite was a literary invention, a mistranslation of the original texts, or an authentic historical practice. Okay, so we don't actually know if people really did that, but... Wow, that's fucked up. Let's continue. Yeah, I think for sure this creature, it was missing its head, so I think for sure the Bloodletting Beast was actually, like, dead, and it was a corpse being piloted by that parasite. I think that's what's going on. A lot of folklore is fucked up. Yeah, it's true. We've seen parasites pilot people before. A lot of people think the brain suckers are humans being piloted by parasites, and we don't see the parasite until it, like, pops open. We don't see it until they do the grab attack, and then it comes out, and then it sucks our brains out. God, there's a lot of extra doors. I'm not used to this many in a dungeon. It's just like extra enemies and stuff. I don't think it's lore important. Oh, I can summon someone, okay. Should we do that? Let's have a friend. Could be fun. Who is this? I forgot to read it. Who is this? Who's joining us? Hello? If you're here, let us know. Give us a sign. Old Hunter Tomb Prospector Oleg. He's wearing the Tomb Prospector garb, and he seems to be using the Kark hammer. So it's the sword hammer that, what's his name? Alfred uses. Oh, man. Okay. Alright, Oleg, let's go. Oleg, you do no damage. But they provided distraction. Gonna check the ceiling, make sure there's nothing fucking up there. Did I get eaten by one of those things on stream before? These guys are poison, they suck. There's a hunter here! What the fuck, rope Molotov? Stop it. Who is this? Summon Madman Walter? What was your name? Let's have friends. So that was another Tomb Prospector killing us, presumably because he went mad. A lot of the Tomb Prospectors do. In fact, if you look at these two standing next to each other, their outfits are very similar, but this one is very fucked up in comparison. So is his face. It's a lot paler. He's starting to take on Pthumerian features, and he's got this strange... It looks like a living thing wrapped around him. And then his gauntlets and pants are just like rags by this point. And he's called Madman. But he's holding, I think that's Ludwig's rifle. So he was a church member, but apparently has been down here a little too long. But he's still seems to want to ally himself with us, so that's nice. Hi, it's Editing Chess here. I realized that I didn't end up doing an armor showcase. I do end up doing the weapon one. I'm really kicking myself that I forgot to do the armor showcase, because one of the armor sets that you can get is the Madman set, and the description reads as follows. Most tomb prospectors, members of the Healing Church chosen to explore the old labyrinth, are unable to withstand the weight of the old knowledge and go mad. This attire is worn by those lost souls. The appendages draped across them are said to be a kind of protective charm, or at least that is what these lost souls believe with all their hearts. So that just confirms everything I was saying. I think I might have been subconsciously remembering this description, but this is definitely a tomb prospector who has gone mad. The appendage might be referring to that strange little worm that's wrapped around this person, and that also implies that this is a part or a limb of a god, so that there are actually other god bodies. I mentioned earlier in this video that Kos was the only known god body that we knew of. I also totally forgot that Ebrietas was out here in the physical realm, so she is another god body. And then she is also praying at the Altar of Despair, which looks like a body of a Rom-like creature. Maybe it is Rom from like a different point in time, because there's strange time travel kind of stuff, like how eldritch gods and things can work outside of time and can work outside of those constraints and kind of be in multiple places at once because of that inability to adhere to time as we know it. But anyway, this appendage could be referring to that worm-like thing that they're wearing, or it could be referring to the weapon that they're using, as you'll see. Earthwormish, yeah. What the fuck? Man, you killed the shit out of that rat. Good job, guys. Y'all, it's getting crowded. Get the fuck out of my way. Who we fighting? Also, Madman Waller is using the amygdalin arm, as you can see. Hopefully I'll show you in the weapons showcase, but hopefully we can kind of see it as a preview. We just came from there. Is there anywhere else we can go, or is, like, what was the point of this room? Just some blood vials? Why'd we even come here? Ew, they've got like bulbous, disgusting sacks on them. Ugh. It's got rapid poison. Yeah, you can see him using it. It's pretty cool, right? Oh, who's throwing this at me? You are. Oh, those guys have fire swords. I think they're bad news. Yellow backbone. Interesting. Blood vials. Fellas, let's go up here. Thanks for turning on the light. Fellas, is it gay to explore the Pthumerian labyrinths? Guys, I cannot see when you are that close to me. Who's up here? Okay, I think we can take him. What do you guys think? Good job, Waller. You're the FTP, the OTP, the MVP. Ritual blood. Oh, I've never been hit by that before, okay. I didn't know you were in here. I believe that's it, right? Ugh. We've nearly enough to level up. Fellas? There you are. What is Waller doing? Waller, what are you doing? Waller, my guy. Stop. There you go. Waller, stop. Come with me, please. come here. Let's go. Oleg, why don't we go ahead? He'll join us later. Living up to that madman name. Yeah, no kidding. I have like enough to level up. I kind of want to do that. Oh, I can't unless I send you home. That's fine. I could send them home. I do kind of want to level up. I'm not confident in this third one yet. Where is it? There we go. Let's send Waller home. And then Alec. Bye. Living up to that madman name. He wanted to get his rolls in for the day. He takes his role very seriously. It's not really viable to upgrade anything except vitality these days. Alright. Oh my god, we're already at the last boss. One of the most lore important bosses in the entire game. I'm excited. Final boss, let's go! Let's have some help. Alright, Oleg, let's go. I hear this boss is kind of difficult. Oleg? Olaf? I keep wanting to call him Olaf. Hello? Does he know where to go? There you are. Let's go. He's still following? Okay, good. Oh, this is exciting. Okay, you ready? Who could be behind the door number three? It's Yharnam, Pthumerian Queen. Look familiar? Oh! Help me. She's pregnant. Oh god. Oh my god. Okay. Uh-oh, she's free. She broke her chains. She was tied up. She sounds a bit like the Kanehurst ladies. Oh, she's gone. Which one is the real one? Probably the pregnant one. She's got like a blood sword. Oh! No, you're fake. Oh, God! Oh, I'm dead. I kind of want to battle her myself. Wow. And shackled. Yeah. Let's try again without Oleg. I kind of want her attention all to myself. I think we were getting through her too easily, and I kind of want to savor the moment. I've never fought this boss before. Queen Killer? Okay, but I'm a little curious. Who the fuck is that? What are you even gonna look like? Who is the Queen Killer? Queen Killer? This is lore important, that's why we're doing it. Oh, you're an executioner. With your wheel and a cannon and no clothes for some reason. Actually, sir, I hate executioners. Actually, like, genuinely hate them, so, like, get the fuck out of here. I know, now I've made the boss a little harder for myself, but let's try it anyway. We'll probably die, that's fine. But now I want to get a better look at what she's doing. Oh! She has the same music as Martyr Ligarius. Okay, so that AoE is very dangerous. The title of this track is actually Queen of the Vile Bloods. Oh! Fuck. Oh, girl. Oh, God. So she has some of the same powers as those nobles. What is that? Is she invisible? You're not real. Which one's real? Pregnant one, probably. You're pregnant. Oh, God, get me out of here. Oh God, get me out of here! What are you doing? You stabbing yourself? Alright, thankfully they only died of one hit. Where are you? I'll just hit you. What? She's shooting at me. She's got a blood blade. Oh God. No! Oh God! It's like raining blood. Oh! Whoa! That's so cool. Wow. Okay, so we saw Maria use blood blades. This is definitely a blood blade. This is kind of like what Maria could do if she had more of that blood in her. Jesus. Oh my God. It's like rapid poisoning me too. Oh, get me out of here! Oh my God, don't. Just want to take care of these copies in case they cause trouble. Sneak up on me. Oh! Oh my God. Oh, get me out of here. Like, like blood blades? I got one too. If I die and she's only got this much health. Oh my god. Please, no chances. Oh, second try. Yharnam stone. Sacred heirloom left by Yharnam, Pthumerian queen. The queen lies dead, but her horrific consciousness is only asleep and stirs in unsettling motions. This looks kind of like a fetus. The queen lies dead, but her horrific consciousness is only asleep, stirs in unsettling motions. Very similar to Queen Annalise, who even when she was torn apart by Alfred and crushed to bits, we were still able to revive her because she was still technically alive. That's it. That's the last dungeon. I was wondering if I was the only one seeing the vaguely fetus imagery. Nope. They're not the only one. I know there's an item. Where do you find that? Oh man. We would have to do another dungeon for that, but apparently there's also a ring of betrothal. I'll read about it. The inhuman beings known as the Great Ones imbued this ring of betrothal with some special meaning. In the age of the Great Ones, wedlock was a blood contract only permitted to those slated to bear a special child, and it is presumed that that is Queen Yharnam's ring of betrothal. It seems like the Pthumerians worshipped the Great Ones and had this society built around the reality of these Great Ones, and Queen Yharnam was chosen to bear a special child, Murgo, we can assume, and we saw her consciousness connected to the blood moon ritual. She was sobbing and pregnant and bleeding, and then we saw her consciousness in the Nightmare of Mensis, where she was staring up at Murgo's loft. Let me see if she's still here in this playthrough. I'm sorry. Oh. I automatically like respawned right where she was and I killed her. Whoops. Let's go see if we can still see. I don't know if I interacted with her or not on this playthrough, but I showed it last time. Not last time, but like a while back. When we came down here and we saw Queen Yharnam, she bowed to us. But let's address the elephant in the room. Her name is Yharnam. Ah, here she is. Okay. So, I'll show you again. Here she is. She is in shackles, in a wedding dress, and bleeding. She's no longer pregnant in this consciousness. I think the majority of the Phantom believes she was arranged to have a Great One child. It might have been a great honor, or it might have been against her will. And then it was ripped from her and used in this School of Mensis ritual. And she bows and disappears. Interesting. It is believed that her physical form was in the Pthumerian dungeons, and then her consciousness was tied here to this nightmare and to the violence that was enacted on her poor child. And it's possible that the child is here and invisible, or is not here and is dead, or they could be dead and invisible too. Those aren't mutually exclusive, but like Formless Odin and then the Murgo's wet nurse kind of having the child is invisible, and then also a lot of halflings in Dark Souls, like the half-dragons, half-humans, can also turn invisible, like Priscilla and little ocelot. So it's possible that Murgo, we never see Murgo because you can't see Murgo. I don't know. Again, we don't know. there's no way to know. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, weapon showcase. Hi, Editing Chess here again. Turns out there's plenty else. I can't believe I mentioned the elephant in the room and then literally forgot to talk about it. Yharnam, Pthumerian Queen, shares the same name as the city we've been in this entire game. Yharnam, a woman chosen by her people, or perhaps by a god, to bear a Great One's child, only to have it ripped from her womb and presumably sacrificed, is yet another woman who is tortured with non-consensual pregnancy. To have a city named after her could have many implications. These divine births could be a twist on the Catholic mythos of the Virgin Mary and her child, as we see multiple women undergo this cycle of pregnancy and birth all in one night. Yusefka's impostor treats this as a blessing, but Ariana, not so much. And there's plenty of evidence to place Queen Yharnam in this latter category, from her bound hands and her blood-stained dress to her incessant weeping. Yharnam itself as a city is full of Pthumerian influence, from the little messengers on the walls to the use of body parts and rituals, so much so that the coffins littered throughout the city have to have mort safes to keep grave robbers out. To its very name, Yharnam is a city grown out of the ancient civilization of Pthumeru like a fungus out of a corpse. I'm not sure how much the Yharnamites know about their own history. It could be that they are very proud of their heritage, which is why they despise foreigners. Or it could be that they're completely ignorant of their town's origins. I tend to lean towards the latter, with the xenophobia being attributed to their pride in the more recent institution of Lawrence's healing church and the miraculous properties of its healing blood. The violence of what happened to Queen Yharnam seems to be forgotten, yet her name remains. So who was Queen Yharnam? Unfortunately, we know very little of the Pthumerians, but from her boss fight, I think it's safe to say she is very much connected with the Vilebloods of Cainhurst. I mentioned earlier that she shares the same boss music as Martyr Logarius, who we fought in Cainhurst, and that the title of that track is Queen of the Vilebloods. Now that could obviously refer to Queen Annalise,
ruler of the Vilebloods.
But what an interesting track to tie to Queen Yharnam. Not only that, but many of Yharnam's attacks are similar to the ghostly nobles of Cainhurst, including the ability to freeze us in place, the fact that she lunges at us with bound hands and a knife, and then she stabs herself and applies her blood to her own blade, much like Lady Maria, who we already know is a distant relative of the Queen. Most of the fandom believes Maria's relative to be Queen Annalise, but I do think it's interesting that the description does not confirm which queen. Now, it's very possible that the traitorous Bergenworth scholar of which Alfred spoke, who
brought forbidden blood back with him to Cainhurst Castle,
was smuggling not blood of a great one, but blood of the Pthumerian Queen. This may also be why Cainhurst's blood has completely different effects from the Healing Church's blood. Maybe it's been filtered through a humanoid, making it arguably safer and bestowing more of its power to the user, though it seems to be without its healing effects. Apparently, to get those effects, one must inject God's eldritch special unfiltered mega blood into your veins, and, as we know, the hubris of Lawrence knows no bounds. And speaking of this, I never got to mention the lands of Loran in my playthrough. Ailing Loran is another set of Chalice dungeons you can explore. The lands are dusty and decayed. A strange electricity hangs in the dry, ashen air. What we know of Loran is that it is a kingdom that fell to the Beast Scourge long ago. Lawrence no doubt was aware of this kingdom and its fate, yet brought the same source of that fate to the city of Yharnam, surely thinking, this won't happen to me. It happened to them, but it won't happen to me. And yet, surprise of all surprises, it did. It seems the curse of these ancients, just like their names and influence, clung to the ankles of time with an unflinching skeletal grasp, dragged into the modern realm by those whose very wish was to escape it. Alright, let's do a weapon showcase. Let's begin. You guys have already seen this Chikage. It is a katana type weapon. It is a blood blade, so when I stick it in my sheath, it is now coated in blood. My blood. And it makes my blade way more powerful. The Bloody Crow of Cainhurst used this against us, and as you see, my health is deteriorating the more that I keep it out. So that is the risk. And then you transform it back, and it stops. So it's kind of like it's pulling from my blood. Even though I stick it in my sheath, it kind of feels like I'm stabbing it into myself, as it were. And it's continually drawing from me until I stop it. Then I also have Simon's Bowblade, which you've seen plenty of. It is a sword. And then transformed, it is a bow, and it is technically a blood tinge weapon, which is how my arrows have so much power. There's another blood tinge weapon called the Reiterplash. It is similar to the rifle spear. It says a prototype weapon serving as a simple firearm and spear, possibly created in imitation of a lost Canehurst weapon. And this is that Canehurst weapon. So it's a rapier, essentially. And then you transform it, and now it has the ability to shoot. As you can see, there's it's a sword right now, and then I can click it into, you can see now it has a gun attached, and my R1 cuts people, and then R2 shoots people now. And my L2 would access my pistol, because this is another one of those weapons where it transformed, it only still is in one hand. So this is kind of like if you want to like quickly visceral someone, smack them around and stuff. I haven't found too much use for it, but I'm sure you could use it to great effect if you knew how to use it. Rifle spear tends to be the more strength-based weapon. It is less of a rapier and more of a spear. Then you've got this big old gun, and now you have to hold it in two hands. So if you do want to shoot somebody, so R1 slices people still, but wait, come on. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. R2 also smacks people around, but now your L2 creates kind of a blunderbuss effect. Let's show you the good old saw cleaver. So this is the most popular weapon in the whole game. It is the weapon that is shown the most with like advertising and stuff like that. It's a cleaver. Here's your strong R2 attack, and then you transform it. And it's a much longer thing. But the beauty of it is in its transformation attack. So you're attacking someone, then it's like that attack. When you open it up on them, like that attack is really detrimental. I'm late, but I'm here for the saw cleaver. Hi, welcome. Welcome. We finished the last dungeon, and we're doing weapon showcase now. Saw spear is similar, very similar moveset, except when you open it, it has a different moveset here. It's more of a spear moveset. Saw cleaver is popular because you get it right at the start, and it's good enough to get you through the whole game. The interesting thing, there are far less weapons in this game compared to like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or things like that. And legitimately, you can just grab one weapon and it can get you through the entire game. I think that kind of is purposeful as well, because unlike being like an adventurer or a knight or something, you are a hunter, and so it makes sense to specialize with one weapon. So like for most of my Squonk playthrough, I literally just used my beginner weapon, the threaded cane. The Saw Spear Hunter, Jura's friend, used this against us, the Saw Spear. I want you to pick a weapon that fits your style and feel. If you like a weapon, keep it. Exactly. And all these beginning weapons can get you through the entire game. I'll show you the axe on a different playthrough. Here's the scythe. I showed you a little bit of that. We got this in the Old Hunter DLC. It is the precursor to those two weapons I showed you, the Saw Spear and the Saw Cleaver, as you can see. It is not serrated, though. As they discovered later, experimenting with things, the serrated blades work better against beasts. I do like this kind of like undercut move, though. It's cool. It is very cool. Uncanny just means like you can apply different gems to it. If you look up at my gems, it says like my attributes: physical attack, blood attack, etc. And then you've got 3 little gems at the top. You've got the spiky 2 in the beginning, and then you've got this circular one, and then here you've got a triangle one, which I believe means you can imbue it with like elements. So you can turn weapons that normally can't be imbued with elemental stuff into an elemental thing. Meaning like if I were to put like a fire gem as my last one, then that would every time I hit it would do a little bit of fire damage. I don't need to show you Threaded Cane since we pretty much went through all of that in our Squonk playthrough. So we used the church pick a little bit in our Squonk playthrough, but I like it. It's cool. I like how noisy it is. I like how fast its big long version is. Lost Bowblade just has way more blood attack. I'll show you Tonitrus. So this we couldn't see because my little skinny boy was too skinny. He has a truck weapon. That's very cool. Nice. So it's essentially a mace. When you transform it, it gets more electrical, and it's very good against kin of the cosmos or aliens and things like that. And you don't have to use any sort of mana or anything. There's no mana in this game, as you've seen. Mana is kind of replaced by silver bullets. So I can recharge this. It doesn't even use endurance, as you saw. It doesn't use my health. I can recharge it as often as I want. It's a one-handed weapon, so I can still shoot if I want. Recharge, etc., etc. So it's very good against King of the Cosmos. I just don't like its moveset very much, so I don't use it very often. Ball hammer, yeah. Bloodletter. This is what Brador used against us. One-handed, untransformed, it is this terrifying, very sharp-looking object, and I'm about to stab it into me. So now it's like big and disgusting, and that was my charged R2, was this disgusting, like, growing thing. Gross, nasty. So it doesn't continually eat at my health the same way that Chikage does. As you can see, little by little. My initial stab doesn't do anything, and my transformation attack is very powerful, so if I'm like, bam, that really hurts people. But the initial stab can kill you if you're on low enough health, so you need to be careful of it. Very fun and interesting blood weapons. Now this is the Beast Claw. When we transform it, now we've got this big dumb hand on us. This weapon is best when we are transformed, and I'll show you that. There we go. Now I have like the full abilities of Beast Claw. And as you noticed, right when I transformed, even when I transformed the weapon, so here we're back to my gun. I still have Beast Hand because I have the rune on, but even when I transformed into this big old claw, and I wasn't in beast form, I've still got that mist coming off of me. You still hear that like sound. My attacks are going to build up that beast meter, but it is even more powerful if I'm transformed like this. So this is like if you want to go full beast mode, it's very fun. Literal beast mode, love it. Yeah, exactly. And then we've got Coast Parasite, which is invisible on me right now, and I can't use it. I'm literally just like punching somebody. The only way it's viable is with milkweed. So now you see I've got this weird like protuberance on my hand. Let's transform it. Now I've got two weird squiddly things the L2 is fun. It's a grab attack. So you grab somebody and then you explode them with like cosmic energy. That's just nasty. Yeah. It's disgusting. I love it. But literally, if you're not a Lumenwood, let's take this off. I've got the Coast Parasite equipped, as you see, but I can only punch somebody. Like, it literally, it can only live if I'm feeding it with my Lumenwood head. Let's switch back to what I normally use. And then we will continue exploring. There we go. On another file. I'm going to show you the strength weapons next because they're very fun. And for that, we're going to go to Sridhar. Strength is fun in Bloodborne, but not as fun as like in Dark Souls or something like that. Because your viscerals scale with skill / dexterity. Big boy time. Does that mean the cannon? Oh yeah, I'm going to show you the cannon. Oh, I forgot to show you guns. They're not all terribly different, but the cannon is special. I will show you the cannon. Your visceral attacks scale with skill and dexterity. I've got my whirligig saw out right now, so I'll show you that. It's very fun. So I haven't touched this file since we ended getting our regular ending, our Wake Up in Yharnam sunrise ending last time, but that's what... It's just a club, essentially. The fun of the whirligig saw is its transformed mode, which I will show you against this poor soul. We are gonna L2 it. That is fun. Pizza cutter. Let's tramp around Yharnam a little bit. Stagger lock that poor dude. Exactly. That is the fun of it. Should have had more poise. Yeah. It is very fun. And I'll show you the boom hammer too, which has pretty much the same moveset each time, but it is kind of like the Tonitrus in which you charge it and then lay it down on some poor unsuspecting soul. It is also very fun. Hammer go boom. That was a comical animation. Which one? I do like this animation. Wha-bam! And then this is also very fun. Wha-bam! Wha-bam! Yeah, strength is fun for when you want things to go boom. Let's explore more strength weapons. The Beast Cutter is kind of like... kind of like if you wanted to... If you really liked the Threaded Cane, but you wanted to be a strength build. So, we saw the old hunters using this against us. They're like... You're welcome for that reenactment. Sound effects are mandatory. So, it is a bit like a heavy sword and then a whip. A really heavy whip. It's not necessarily a good weapon, though. It's not very fast. It's extremely easy to visceral me. Good old man noises. It's not old man noises. Okay, we've got Kirkhammer. That's what Alfred uses. I haven't upgraded like any of these, but sword. And then you've got hammer. Two-handed hammer. Bam. Bonk. Bam. Here's your R2. Bam. And then with two-handed weapons, they... usually your L2 is for shooting, but if you're a two-handing weapon, you get a special L2 attack. That was kind of boring. We've got the Stake Driver. That is what Jura used against us. So now I've charged it, and now I can, like, shoot it, kind of. It's a little hard to land. Let's charge it on you. Bam, there you go. This reminds me of medieval combination weapons, which is a rabbit hole I won't go down here. Ooh, that sounds fun. That might have been inspired by it. But, yeah, the shooting... It's a very difficult weapon to master. Juro was very good at it, but as you can see, like when the explosion happens, it's very close to me. And you're left, it's a very slow animation, and you're left very open and vulnerable. So it's like someone could hit me and then bam. So you would have to have like a lot of poise and a lot of like strength to be able to tank something, and or like have a very good sense of timing for this to be a viable weapon. Why can't I use Ligarius's wheel? I don't have enough arcane. Interesting. But I will show you the amygdalin arm. That's what Madman Waller was using. It's a club. This is not a weapon. It's just an arm. Now it's transformed. It's got this weird little claw on it with his tendons. So that's our R2, is that it charges up, twists, and then continues to slash after I've put it down as if it's still kind of alive, which is disgusting. I want to see if I can get someone with it. Oh, that was like a spinning attack. That was cool. The after effect actually killed them. They are going to kill me, though, if I'm not careful. It's got a very long range, but it is a little slow. I think you've noticed a pattern. A lot of the strength weapons are kind of slow. Oh, we gotta explore cannon. Oh, I already have it equipped. Neato. Okay. Let's see if we can fuck up this little mini boss. Good thing weight is not an issue. Let's get him. Bam. It used a butt ton of my bullets, though. Oops. Oh, I have no bullets left. Never mind. I was trying to, like, visceral one. Let's get some bullets then. Oh man, I was trying to get him. I just want to show you how weak the visceral is as a strength build. Got him. Okay. Now watch his health. Oh, that was a bad example. Trust me, it's weak. That was dumb. Poor dude got sent. Yeah, so the cannon is very cool. It is also a very good way to cheese the amygdala. You essentially just aim the cannon at its head and shoot it. It is very difficult to have enough bullets for it, though. I wonder if I've got my church cannon in storage. I want to see if I can show that to you guys. I don't think I've upgraded this cannon either, so it would be even more powerful. I believe that's correct. I haven't upgraded this. Let's check. Yeah, this is only +4. Imagine it at +10. Hi, Garmin. What was I going to do? Out of storage. No, interesting. Okay, I might have to show you that. Well, that sucks. Did I even show you the axe? Nope. Okay, so I'll show you the axe. It is considered the worst of the starting weapons, but I think it's kind of fun. It's a little slower, but this clears crowds. I actually kind of want to show you that real quick. Let me go find a crowd to absolutely terrorize with this. Big Spy Hunter vibes here. Is the damage good? Not really. Does it cleave through literally everything out with pat poise? Yes. So, shit. Okay. Let's time this correctly. Yeah, look at this. It is fun. I do like it. I think it is a good beginner weapon, especially for that R2 getting through crowds. It is fun. So that's strength weapons. Let's move on to a little bit of the arcane. They're still struggling to get up by the time you're ready to go again. Exactly. It is a little slower, but when you learn the timing, strength can be very rewarding. So let's go to Mavanwi, my arcane build. I showed you a little bit of her before when I was showing you her knight garb, which she's still wearing. But you might notice I have Ludwig's Holy Moonlight Blade, which in its regular form just looks like this. It's time for the cheese weapon. So here is... It's just a blade, right? But that's kind of boring. At least it allows us to use our gun, but its real power, because this is two-handed, its real power is bam. Unfortunately, it does use a bullet every time, but it sends that light wave. And then our L2, bam. Also uses bullets, but that's okay. I'll show you a few more weapons. We've already seen Black Sky Eye and Beast Roar. We've seen Augur Vabrietis. It's a good parrying tool, but you guys didn't get to see a Call Beyond. I'm gonna go way away from the doll so that I can use this. You got to be very high arcane to do that. I think it's 40 arcane. Yeah, it's 40. Ooh, an Accursed Brew. So we've seen the people at the fishing hamlet use that. It's that the heads come out and chase people. What else can we use? Executioner's gloves are fun. So this is what we see Martyr Ligarius use. And Mikolash, of course, was using the Call Beyond, which means that he is extremely high in arcane. There are other arcane weapons I can show you. Pretty much just the Kos weapon that I showed you, the weird squiggly one, the parasite, Kos Parasite, which is literally a parasite living on us and feeding off of our lumen wood. For my Chisare playthrough, or my reference playthrough, I kind of did a skill/arcane build. So right now I've got Empty Phantasm Shell equipped, and that coats this in kind of like this arcane powder, and it makes me a little more powerful because it helps not just with the physical scaling, but with a little bit of arcane too. But this is mainly a skill build. So this is the Rikuyo. As you've seen, this is Lady Maria's weapon. The R2 in its one-handed form is extremely good. And then you can... this is me pressing R1 repeatedly. You get sort of like... She stabs it with the front of the weapon and then also the back of the weapon too. You get this front-back stab kind of sweep. Can transform it, and R1 is just this combination of using these two weapons. R2 is kind of useless. It's just that. The L2 is very cool though. It's this little sweep. Bam, bam. And L1, of course, transforms it. And then I've also got the Blades of Mercy, which are Eileen's weapon. So I've got my gun out right now in my one-handed form, and if you look at this weapon, it is actually two knives placed on top of each other. As you can see, they are snapped together, and when I transform them, now they are separate. Now they function as two, and this is where their real strength is in its transformed form. They are extremely fast. They technically do the least amount of damage per hit, but you just get so many hits in that it's an extremely powerful weapon. If they did more damage than this, they would be a little OP. This is your R2. Here's your second R2, so you can follow it up with another R2. So it's bam, bam. Your L2 is get you out of there. Defensive position. But it's kind of cool to L2, R2... Wait, sorry. L2, R2... I'm out of endurance. Let me try it again. Okay. L2, R2, R2. So, like, you get out of there and then destroy someone when they come to you. Very stamina efficient as well. Yes. Bam, 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 bam. This can stun lock you so easily. It is very much a weapon designed for taking out hunters. And I've never done this, but if we didn't complete Eileen's quest, we would have had to have fought her, and she is very difficult. I do want to take this moment to read what she would have said to us if we had fought her. So the reason she fights us is because she has kind of like lost her way. She goes a little mad with blood. At the Grand Cathedral, when hostile and hunting the player. So she laughs and then she says, few hunters can resist
the intoxication of the hunt. Look at you. Just the same as all the rest. The hunters must die. The nightmare must end. Only I can stop this madness.
The beasts cannot be stopped! What good are hunters now? Your blood is mine. A hunter's blood for me. Your punishment is death. Death to hunters! Enough of this terrible dream.
You monsters. All hunters must die.
Just a little bit of blood madness as a treat. That is the risk we have talked about in the past, is that every hunter has the risk of going mad with blood or of becoming a beast. So she was putting people down, like we put down Gascoigne because he was literally turning into a beast, and then she had to put down Henrik, and we helped her with that because he had gone mad, I think with grief, but supposedly he was out there attacking everyone. The Bloody Crow of Canehurst was also a problem. She seemed most upset about the Bloody Crow and called it that thing, which I think might be because, you know, he's a vile blood and maybe she doesn't like vile bloods. But I don't know. It could also be that he has accomplished many horrible things in his past enough to brandish him the name a thing. You saw her fight Henrik. She was very, very fast. Get out of there. Bam. These are great weapons. I do like them. What else can I show you? I can't hold much as this character. I never showed you guys the flame sprayer. This uses bullets continually, but it is kind of cool. Oops. It's just draining my bullets, as you see. But not as fast as you would think. It is kind of fun to just like deal continual damage, but it does eat bullets. The fist, is probably better for your strength weapon. But it is another parrying tool if you want to get very close to the enemy. You don't want to shoot them. You would rather like hit them. It will still give you that parry opening. I have never used it. Oh man, I do have the church cannon on this one, but I can't hold it because it's too much. Okay, so this is an item that we could have gotten in the Nightmare Frontier if we went past that really scary Winter Lantern who was down there. And it was actually the first time we ever saw Winter Lantern here. This is my only character who has it. It's called Messenger's Gift. I would like to read about it since this is completely new and you guys haven't seen it. A strange gift from the messengers, inhabitants of the dream who revere the brave hunters, used to envelop oneself in a black nightmarish mist, then transform into a messenger. The illusion is a parlor trick, and any large movement will break the spell. To preserve the guise, proceed very slowly. So it's essentially kind of like a mimic veil or something like that, but we can disguise ourselves as a message. So I look just like these guys. And when you're online, the landscape is full of these guys. So I would just be like over here hiding. Like, let's say I'm invading a world or something. And I could just be over here hiding. And then someone would come over to read me. And then, waha! Attack! It's dumb. It's kind of a cowardly move, but it's kind of fun. So I pull out a skull, and then I do that. Which is interesting. I don't think we have previously seen the messengers... Oops. Connected with, like, skulls and death, per se. Maybe they're emerging from a Pthumerian skull. There's also cut content of, or there's concept art of the moon presence, not all torn up, like her ribs aren't exposed, and she actually has some beautiful wings, and she has this big beautiful bubble around her head, and then she's cradling all these messengers who are just like swarming her and her body. It's a very beautiful image. It kind of implies that maybe the messengers are connected to her in some way, and then also that maybe she's actually injured in her current form when we fight her, possibly. I'll have to send you a video later of a guy using Chameleon to hide from invaders in DS2 until they give up on invading him. Whenever I'm a hunter in Elden Ring, I will like put on the Mimic Veil and like just stand somewhere, and then the invader comes around and I'm just like, watch out! It's fun. Oh, I forgot to show you Gehrman's weapon. I'll show you in a moment. So here's the character that is in Dandy's in Danger. He's this old Cockney hunter. Not hunter. He's an old Cockney angel. So I gave him like wings. He's wearing the crow feather stuff, and he is his looks at least are very heavily based on Gehrman. But this is Gehrman's weapon. We've already seen him use it. The moveset is a little different from Gehrman's boss fight. These are kind of the same. Of course, we can't like boom travel the way he did. We could mimic that a little bit with like a little bit of the old hunter bone, like quickening. We're never going to be as fast as him though, and we can't do that jump. And then this charged R2 only swings once. When Gehrman was fighting us, it swung twice, almost as if he kind of like pulled it. He kind of continued the motion from, like he pulled it from the back and like allowed it to kind of boom, boom, you know? Anyway, then the handle becomes useless and it just goes on your back. And then you've got this sword, and then you can also use your gun. That's about it for that. But yeah, that's essentially it. I do want to take this moment again to, if you enjoyed this, and I barely scratched the surface of the Bloodborne lore, I really did. I barely scratched it. If you enjoyed this and you're looking for more lore to watch or read about, I highly recommend you read The Pale Blood Hunt. It's an essay, essentially, kind of going over a lot of different details and piecing together the story, and I used it a lot for my comic. I don't agree with literally everything in there, but again, that's up to everyone's interpretation because there's no factual, like 100% way to figure anything out. And then I highly recommend you watch, if you're not looking to read something, you can watch Charred Thermos's playlist, An Agony of Effort, which I've mentioned several times, but it really goes into the medical narrative of what's going on and like the symbolism of what's going on. A little bit of like the story of Bloodborne, but mostly about what are the symbols used, what are very specific things that are talked about. So if you have questions about like, why does blood crystallize? Or like specifically like what are certain statues referencing? A lot of these statues are referencing specific things or are just like straight out drawn from the real world. There was in fact a real world Yharnam to a point, and it was not London. There was a 19th century city that was the leading Western world city when it came to medicine and surgery. Paris. Interesting guess, but no. You'll have to watch the playlist to figure it out. But there is kind of a real world Yharnam. There were very arguably unethical experiments going on. There was the explosion of ether, and I've mentioned before that the holy blood of Yharnam, the church blood, Lawrence's, that he built his entire religion on, is compared to ether. And then there was also the invention of chloroform, which was a threat to those who were selling ether, and Charred Thermos argues that chloroform was kind of used symbolically to be like the Canehurst Vile Bloods. I was guessing because of the Paris catacombs. There is definitely French influence in this game. I personally feel like Canehurst is very French. I feel like the executioners going in and murdering all these nobles might be a reference to the French Revolution, especially since some of these noble women walking around are missing their heads. And then if you watch Charred Thermos's Agony of Effort, there's specifically some clues within the Queen Vileblood's chambers that suggest ties to France. I would guess an American city, actually, for the medical references. Good guess. It's not an American city. You'll have to watch to figure it out. But let's end with Squonk, since we started with him. There's a statue that's a copy of the Virgin Mary and Jesus. It's in France. Yes, that's true. In Canehurst. Yeah. So Canehurst is very much like referencing France in a lot of ways. The very last video, the last revelation, is a revelation that has to do with Kos and the orphan of Kos and the Great Ones themselves. It entirely explains the Great Ones, and it also, the very last video, shows you how Miyazaki probably even came up with the idea for Bloodborne. It blew my mind. I'm not exaggerating. I was like high on knowledge after this. I highly recommend you watch Agony of Effort. You do need to watch all the videos that come beforehand. Don't just skip to the ending. You gotta watch it. First video should hook you. It's about Garamond. It's cool. If you liked this, if you liked listening to me talk about lore, and you want more and you're thirsting for more knowledge, Agony of Effort was the best set of videos I have ever watched about Bloodborne, and I've seen like a billion of them. I have a small copy of it at my grandparents' house. Aw, cute. Alright, so I'm gonna end this next to my favorite character. We are now officially done with Bloodborne. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey, letting me explain my favorite game to you guys. It means so much that you tuned in every single week, and that we got to hang out and you let me just like hyperfixate and data dump about a game that brings me so much joy in a world that is dark and threatening and horrible, but that there is a strange amount of meaning in. Thank you for taking us on it. Will chess keep playing depressing games? Will chess become Dr. Rectum again? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. These streams are all amazing and informative. Thank you so much for letting us join you and letting us listen. Aw, thank you. Thank you again for joining me for Bloodborne. I really loved having you guys here. It just means a lot. Thank you guys. Say goodbye, Bloodborne. We might revisit this in the future if they do like a Bloodborne remastered or something. We'll see. The 10-year anniversary is coming up, and I feel like they might do something for it, but we'll see. I guess depressing games is the form, lol. These were a ton of fun things. Bye, Bloodborne. Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you again.